Hey friends, and welcome back to Note to Self. So today we're going to be playing a game of Can You Spot the Liar? Something that hopefully the tips and tricks that we learn throughout this video will help us in our ability to accurately guess who is lying in a lineup of people. Without further ado, let's get started. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and here we are for the game of Spot the Liar.
One of us is not telling the truth.
Can you tell which one of us
Is trying to deceive you.
I'm fluent in 3 languages.
I grew up in Shanghai.
I grew up with 5 different pets.
I have never traveled outside of the United States.
I have never broken a bone.
My favorite author is Ray Bradbury. So,
Did you guess which
Which one of us?
Which one of us is not being truthful?
Let's get started.
One of us
Is not telling the truth.
can you tell which one of us
is trying to deceive you.
So they're all trying to be somewhat deceptive in their own way in order to probably throw me off, which it's working.
I'm fluent in 3 languages.
She seemed to remain very calm and collected, not seeming to exhibit any kind of stress in what she was saying or guilt, which is good, so she seems okay.
I grew up in Shanghai.
He was more serious, almost intentionally trying not to show any emotion at all, which could go both ways, but he did make direct eye contact, and I don't know. We'll watch him.
I grew up with 5 different pets.
She seemed very calm as well. Her smile at the end could go both ways, but her voice inflection varied enough that was natural, but not too much to the point that seemed like something was off.
I have never traveled outside of the United States.
His voice inflection varied a lot, and so did his facial expressions. There was a little bit more to go on as far as some behavioral cues, so that definitely raises some suspicion for him.
I have never broken a bone.
My favorite author is Ray Bradbury.
He had to think about it for a second, but he almost did that to try and throw us off. But in the process, even still potentially intentionally trying to be deceptive, he still remained calm and seemed as if what he was saying was from a state of surety and not like he was trying to think of something on the spot. Okay, we're gonna watch this one more time.
I'm fluent in 3 languages.
She
I grew up
seems
in
okay.
Shanghai.
I grew up with 5 different pets.
I have never traveled outside of the United States.
His smile was another thing that gave this away. It almost stemmed from a place of nervousness and enjoyment. It was beyond just happiness. It was a deceptive smile, as if he was almost enjoying the aspect of lying. His eyebrows raised, his voice inflection was very varied. He seems much higher on the hierarchy of suspicion.
I have never broken a bone.
She's a little more on the quiet, elusive spectrum, but she's still able to maintain eye contact and seems very sure of herself, but not in a way that's overdone.
My favorite author is Ray Bradbury.
Even though he had to think about it for a second still, he wasn't overly expressive in his facial expressions, and he didn't try and overdo it to cover up the fact that he could potentially be lying. So I'm gonna say that it's that blonde guy. Smiley. Okay. He smiled again.
So,
Did you guess
Did you guess which one of us?
Which one of us
Which one of us is not being truthful?
He has this kind of like, this is for the purpose of the video, so I mean this in no disrespect, but he almost has this psychopathic attitude as if he's unfazed by real raw emotion and almost has to compensate for that when trying to cover up a lie, as if he's trying to do this intentionally for the sake of throwing us off.
If you guessed that I was the liar, you'd be correct.
Okay, so Smiley was the correct answer.
Here at the University of Rochester, we're applying techniques from data science to understand the characteristics of smile in deceptive communication.
I knew it had to do with the smile. Because out of everyone there, his smile was the most profound, but not in a way that was normal, quote unquote normal. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, how you have to look for a cluster of cues, but also ones that seem most out of place. Even if you don't know their character directly, if it just seems like it doesn't fit within a natural pattern of behavior after you just gauge them for even a couple seconds, then that's a pretty good giveaway.
Prior research shows that even an expert human is as good as random chance in detecting when somebody's lying or telling
I
the
can
truth.
actually attest to that because there were a couple people, especially initially, that could have gone either way for me. So it definitely took a couple rounds to go through and pick apart their behavior. After seeing it the second time, I was able to get a different perspective than just the first time. And this is actually very normal behavior. Even when watching a movie, you'll notice how once you watch it the second time, you pick up on things you completely missed the first time. Or maybe it's just me. Anyway.
We envision a future where a machine and human could work together, where a machine can understand the nonverbal nuances really well, that's invisible to the human eye, and an expert interrogator can take a look at the data towards making a final prediction.
Interesting. So that was the experiment done by the University of Rochester, and let me know if you followed along with this game, who you thought was the liar, or even a couple people that raised an eyebrow of suspicion for you. Hopefully this gave you a good real-life example of what applying some of these tips will look like in the real world. As you can tell, there's a fine line between gauging people's behavior and wanting to not pick someone out that is completely innocent. It's best to take a step back and kind of evaluate the well-roundedness of their character and see how many clusters of the cues that we've mentioned they seem to exhibit. Because most likely, if they're lying, it's going to be more profound and there's going to be more than one cue that you can pick up on. I will see you very soon, and until next time, stay smiling. But not like a deceptive smile that seems like you're being untruthful or sneaky in a way. Like this guy. Okay, sorry. Definitely raises some suspicious. So that definitely raises some suspicious. I cannot talk. Ow, my hair. Ow, my hair. The struggle of having long. Ow.